the cool thing about it is you got people all over you mothering your kids, and even, I mean, like even with Cody.
Hello everyone and welcome to Happily Ever Reality. Today we are talking about Becoming Sister Wives, Chapter 12, and that is in Part 3 of the book, and Part 3 is titled Family, and Chapter 12 is written by Robin Brown. Before I jump into talking about what Robin wrote specifically, I do want to tell you her chapter feels a little bit different than the chapters that the other mothers had written for this part of the book. She seems to focus a bit more. I mean, she focuses on family, but she also focuses on finances, where I feel like the other moms didn't really talk about that stuff as much. And I can't help but think that was because when she entered the family, she was coming into the family with debt, with other children, and a family that was already stretched pretty thin financially. There were already a lot of kids. And so I do think for her, at this point when she was writing the book, I think there were some issues there with the feeling that she wasn't contributing the way she should be. And so that's why when she talks about family, she talks a little bit more about the finances than the other wives did. At least, again, that is just my theory as to why she did it. I just wanted to point that out before I went any further, but you guys can let me know if you read the book and if you felt the same way about it. Did you notice her chapter felt just a little bit different? Again, Robin hadn't been in the family that long when they had published this book, and I'm sure that is a part of it. But it just feels like sometimes, now that we know everything we know, when you go back and read it, you realize why certain things were really emphasized. But that is it. Let's talk about Robin's chapter on family. Robin starts out her chapter by admitting that she doesn't share as much collective history as the other wives. But she also says she didn't have to go through the growing pains and deal with the conflicts that they had to deal with during the early years of their marriages. She says when she joined the family, she tried to become a part of the family in every way possible, even though she didn't live in the same house as the other wives. She tried to help with the kids and contribute her paycheck to the family. She said money was tight for them, but it was really nice to know that they all had each other's backs. According to Robin, moving to Nevada really helped the family because they all had to work together as a team. She said they all had to contribute to the expenses of the move, and that was difficult. But she says now they are on this show and they are essentially all working and they're all doing it together on a daily basis. So now they are financially working as a team. She says this helped even out the sense of financial inferiority or instability any of them may have felt. Robin felt like this helped them all become equal when it came to their finances. So this is something that really stands out. A lot of times when you're reading the other chapters, you notice there are similarities in each chapter when they're talking about things. But this is something that hasn't really been brought up by any of the other wives. I also think it's interesting because she says Nevada really helped the family work together, where the other wives say now the wives are spending less time together than ever. So it seems like this was really a different experience for Robin than it was for the original 3 wives. Robin pointed out that sister wives helped the family financially, but it wasn't just that the show helped them with money, it also helped to give them freedom that they didn't have before. Once they became public and everyone knew they were polygamist, they were able to attend all of the kids' school functions together as a family because they were no longer in hiding. She does make a point of saying what all of the other mothers say, and that it's just impossible to get to all of the school events because there's so many kids, but she says that she wishes she could attend them all. She gives a few examples of times where it was very beneficial to have a group of sister wives, and one was for Dayton's graduation. She said she had invited them all, but knew they probably wouldn't be able to make it. And this was his graduation from elementary school, not high school. He wasn't that old when this book was written. But she invited them all to his elementary graduation. She didn't think they were going to be able to make it, and then everyone attended. And then another example is a time when her and Cody were going to be out of town when Dayton was going to be in a play. She was really disappointed that she wasn't going to be there, and Mary and Christine went instead, and Mary filmed it for her so that she could watch it later. So she makes the point of showing how the sister wives help each other and show up for each other's kids. This is definitely a stark contrast to where they are in seasons 16, 17, and 18 of the show, where this family is further apart than ever. There's no longer a bond there. They don't really show up for each other the way they should. They can't even get together for holidays. So you can see the things that were making them stay together in those years are just completely gone in the future. Then Robin brings up the food issue. She writes that the other Brown kids are often at her house looking for food. She specifically will save leftovers for them when they come over. She says a part of this is because food lasts longer at her house, because she and her girls just don't eat that much. She also points out that both her and Brianna are hypoglycemic, and so they keep extra snacks around for that reason. And she also brings up grocery shopping and meals. She says they're typically separate. The wives don't do that stuff together. The only exception is on Friday and Sunday when they have meals together, and on holidays and birthdays. When it comes to the siblings spending time together, they do as much as possible, according to Robin. The little girls in the family like to come over to her house, and Cody calls all of the little girls the Pixies, and so they call Robin's house the Pixie house. The only rule that Robin has about the kids spending time together is that it can't interfere with chores and homework. She wants her kids to have done their homework before they go somewhere else, and she expects that the other kids have done their homework before they come over. And when it comes to rules, Robin only corrects behaviors or enforces rules when other mothers aren't around. If the other mothers are present, she doesn't want to interfere with their parenting. Robin acknowledges that they all have very different parenting styles, but believes that they all have their kids' best interest at heart. And when it comes to parenting, she likes to talk things out and find out how the kids are feeling. And this is something we've heard about Robin on the show. Cody really likes to bring it up quite a bit, and he did it a lot during the last season. Robin's a good communicator, according to Cody, and she's really good at understanding how people feel. So she likes to talk things out. She's not so much into just disciplining without listening to the kids. Robin uses Mykelti as an example. Robin says that Mykelti had a difficult time fitting in with the other teen girls, and that she tends to stick up for Mykelti, and she tries to see the best in her. So we've definitely witnessed the bond between Mykelti and Robin on the show, and Mykelti continues to have a good relationship with Robin even when the other children don't. So according to Robin, it's because she likes to stick up for the underdog, and that's who Mykelti was. She was the kid who just didn't fit in with the other girls. When it comes to the kids' behavior, Robin says that she won't tolerate bullying, not even minor teasing. Again, sometimes I think things are mentioned in the book because they were current issues for the family. And we saw it on the show. We got to witness it. During the earlier seasons, there are several occasions where issues come up with the Brown children, the original Brown children, and then Robin's children. And it's clear that some of the Brown children, like Janelle's kids and Christine's kids, think that Robin's kids are kind of babied and coddled. You see the issues there. And so Robin brings it up and she says, no bullying, not even minor teasing. I do wonder if this would have been brought up at all or even been an issue if Robin had entered the family with 3 teenage sons. I wonder how this would have been if if the ages of her children had been different, because she entered the family with these 2 younger girls and then Dayton, but she entered into a family with a lot of teenagers. I just wonder how different the situation would have been if the ages of her kids if they were older. Robin also writes about how the older kids didn't immediately accept her as a mother figure, and she thought the other moms would make their kids treat her as a mother, and that isn't what happened. I think that's a crazy thing to think at all. I can't believe she ever thought that she was just going to step in and the other moms were going to be like, you have to listen to this person you just met. And these kids are, some of them were entering adulthood. She wasn't going to step in and be a mother figure to them, but she had thought at one point that that was what was going to happen, and she realized that that wasn't going to work. She had to actually earn it, and she says that she's still working on connecting with some of the kids. Let's just have a moment where we think hypothetically. Let's say that Robin enters this family and she is the perfect new mother. But let's get real, she's more like a stepmom. She's not actually going to step in and be a mom. But let's pretend she walks in and she does amazing with them. She's still not going to really be a mother figure to the older kids the way that Mary would be to Janelle and Christine's kids. And, you know, the original three could be to each other's kids. She just wasn't going to do that. So I think expecting that at all wasn't realistic. She could have been perfect and it just wasn't going to happen. She could have been perfect and they could have loved her. They could have thought she was amazing. But there just wasn't that sort of history there that I think they would need to feel that kind of connection with her. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's not surprising that it didn't happen. But then when you have the sort of conflicts this family had, I mean, it wasn't going to. And clearly we know, again, how this turned out. I think Robin entering the family was a mistake. I say that a lot here on the channel. 16 years between Christine and Robin was just too much. As we get toward the end of the chapter, Robin says that she believes communication is important. She knows that the kids are all going through different things and they're in different stages. And she wants to make sure that she knows about any difficulties the kids are facing. Robin also says that her kids are blessed to have all these mommies and a great daddy. Yes, she says mommy and daddy. Those are her words, not mine. I just want you to know that before I read the next part of this, because I'm going to read directly from the book. Robin says, I remember long before I ever met Cody, my kids would ask when they were going to get a new dad. I think Dayton especially has benefited so much from having a guy around. Cody is patient with him and loves to spend time letting him rattle on about his latest fascination. When it comes to Robin talking about her kids and her divorce, it is so confusing to me. I feel like there's Robin's story and then what you hear from other sources that feel like when you hear the other side of this, it seems fairly reliable. So then I feel like I don't actually know what happened. I feel like I do not understand Robin's divorce and what went down at all. I don't understand why her kids didn't see their dad before she met Cody. I don't like they were asking for a new dad, so they didn't see him at all during those years. I don't understand. That's all. I'm not even going to try to. At this point, I'm just going to read what was in the book. According to her, her kids were asking when they were going to get a new dad. Robin points out that even though some things are difficult, like the kids adjusting to being a part of a much bigger family, they need to learn to share. But there are also positive things, like now they have a lot of playmates. So she points out there's some good things and there's some bad things, but they will never be alone and they will always be loved and supported. And it's the same for the adults. They have to make adjustments. They have to learn to work together as a team, but they are never going to be alone. And that is how Robin ends her chapter. You guys can let me know what you think down in the comments. If you like this video, go ahead and click that like button. I really appreciate it. And I hope you'll subscribe and come back because we're going to finish the last 4 chapters of Becoming Sister Wives.